Hello and welcome back, everyone. If you're rejoining us from the qualifying stream, we're back for Top 32 main event. With me, as always, Tanner. How's it going, man?
Oh, it's going great. I mean, qualifying was a wonderful session to watch. Every single driver just brought their A game with them today, and the points were so close together. I mean, we're looking at the top 32, and it's very slim pickings for how many points are between them all.
It really is. Everybody was so tight all the way up to the mid-90s, and then it was 87 was the cutoff score today for qualifying. So if you didn't get an 87 or higher, you weren't making it into qualifying today. So battles are going to be crazy. I mean, they have to be with all the scores being so close.
I'm sure a lot of drivers also love this track. It's a great track to drive on. It brings a lot of fun, and the battles are always great here. So it's going to be really great to see once we kick off the first battles here to see what they can lay down and do.
right? And you see their drivers coming through their last and final practice runs. Huge lines coming through there. So excited to get this top 32 going.
Yeah, it's going to be such a great day with Erika Sturgis and Caleb Dauphine starting us off for the day.
Looks like judges are still letting them get one little set of practice runs in over the Discord. This is their last and final call before we pull Erika Sturgis and Caleb Dauphine to the line to start things off round one, the Virtual Drift Championship.
Yeah, it's such a crazy qualifier by Erika's. The run was so smooth and so dialed in that I didn't even expect it to be that high, and then all of a sudden the point came in, 96.3, I believe it was. And what a score. It was such a great run that it flowed so well. You were like, yep, it looks like something out of I almost said something out of a video game. But hey, we're here in a video.
We sure are. I mean, the precision was crazy. And, hearing from judges earlier, Erika's is a veteran driver here at VDC, and he's always been, king of Atlanta. And it looks like we have a server issue there. Yeah, we did. We had a quick server restart. Just 1 second as we just quickly reconnect. No reason to go to, a little music break or anything like that. We'll just load right on back in. We had just one car missing from that top 32. That driver couldn't get in. Yeah, appreciate everybody tuning in today. We hit over 1,000 viewers in our qualifying stream. Certainly appreciate everybody sharing it out. Do the same here for the top 32 as well. We're loading right on back in. We are back into the server. Now we just gotta wait for everybody in that first group to connect. Link everybody the bracket here in both the chats today. Go ahead and follow along with us.
And for those watching us on our Facebook stream, feel free to pop on over to YouTube as well. Find Virtual Drift Championship on YouTube and give us a subscribe. Hit that little subscribe button in the bell there. That way you'll know every time we do go live if Facebook decides not to notify you, or if you're just at a friend's house or something, you want to watch it on their TV.
There we go. Final call again from judges. Bringing Erika Sturgis and Caleb Dauphine to the line for the first battle of round one. There you can see in the top left corner of your screen, Erika Sturgis as that lead driver and Caleb Dauphine, base driver.
There they are, both to the line now. So again, Erika Sturgis in the BMW, Caleb Dauphine in that drift spec Mustang. The first battle of the top 32 of round one of season 5 of the Virtual Drift Championships is about to get underway, and here they go. The first battle of the top 32. Down the straight they come. Nice flick entry in by Erika's, but there's Caleb sticking right with them as they come through the first inside clip and start climbing up the hill to the two outer zones. Caleb not giving him a lot of breathing room though as they come through the horseshoe and right on him is Caleb as they transition to go back down the hill. Caleb making a bit of a surge to get back up and keep even more proximity to Ericus as they cross that line. Wow, what a first opening battle.
Really, I mean, going back to the replay here, Ericos out front in his E92 that he's been in since the start, and Caleb Dauphine, rookie driver, following him through the course really nice. Now, it doesn't have the best proximity, but the way he mimics his line, his angle, and everything Ericos did in that lead position through this run was spectacular. Look at the transition coming down the hill here, and Caleb just staying right there with him, making that last transition on the bumper of Ericos, and they finish it out.
And now we get ready for the second half of this battle. We've now switched them around, so Caleb Dauphine will be your lead driver there, and Eric Sturgis will be giving chase. We'll see what Caleb Dauphine can lay down after a solid chase run that he had. He needs a good lead run. Here is a big flick initiation in. Beautiful through the first inside clip as he started to pull away a little bit, but Ericus catches back up with him as there's a little bit of a angle adjustment there as they come into the outer zones, but Caleb's still trying to do his best out front. But now Ericus putting on the pressure as they start to come back down the hill through the last two clipping points and across the line door to door.
What an even battle we have here, and a hard one for the judges to start things out, as we've got Caleb out front in his Mustang now getting on throttle and taking off from Ericos in that lead position. But here comes Ericos back up on the door of Caleb as they come into that second outside zone. Caleb drops just a little bit of a tire, but keeps things going through the horseshoe. Back down the hill they come, and across those last and final inside clips to finish out the run.
Wow, what an amazing drive by Caleb, you know, for coming in at the bottom of the top 32 pole to go up against Ericus Sturgis, who had an amazing qualifying session. To see this just shows the level of the drivers today. Even the rookies, where it's their debut into the Virtual Drift Championships, they are putting out top quality level drives.
Absolutely, as we just wait on those judges to give us their opinion on this run.
And hey, look, another new graphic.
And look at there, Ericos Jerkis gets the win in his E92, and will be moving on into the top 16. Next up, we've got Anthony Serrano and Alexander Sivert.
It was a beautiful, beautiful lead run there from Ericas. He just put the car pretty much again, proving why he's top qualified. Did a beautiful, beautiful lead. To be fair, Caleb had a cracking chase from that. Obviously, it always takes two to tango, and then in the reverse of that, Caleb put down a pretty solid lead line. Unfortunately, there he did drop a tyre at the top coming into horseshoe, and then from there made a couple of other little things.
Coming to the line now.
Job mirroring, and just
is Alexander in that turn 14 GT86. Anthony Serrano in that drift spec Lexus RCF. Anthony will be leading. Alexander will be giving chase as they wait for that countdown to take off and start their battle. And off they go. Our second battle now, Alexander versus Anthony. Anthony out front as he initiates in. Good initiation by Anthony Serrano, but missing out on that first inside clipping point, going really wide. Alexander doing a great job just to stick with him and stay on the line as he is hugging his door as they come through the outside zones and around the horseshoe. They transition now to head back the hill, and Alexander is giving him no room to breathe as they transition bumper to bumper and cross the line.
Another amazing start to a battle here. So we go back to the replay. Anthony out front and just getting bullied by Alexander Shavruk in this chase position. As you said, Anthony goes a little wide on initiation in that first inside clip, but gets it together going up the hill. And here's where we see Alexander really put it on the door of Anthony, maybe even giving him a little nudge there across that inside clip. And back down the hill they come, and on the bumper of Anthony as they make that final transition.
Now back at the line, they have switched positions. Alexander is going to be leading this round, and Anthony will be giving chase. And off they go. Alexander in the turn 14 GT86 out front. Anthony in the drift spec RCF giving chase. And right off the initiation, Anthony is right up on the door, trying to stick with him, going up over that curb as, oh, a huge contact into the front quarter panel, sending Alexander off the course as Anthony continues to finish out his run. Looked like Alexander just had the angle on and Anthony couldn't, and went right into the side of him.
Yeah, it sure does. We'll go back to the replay here. Alexander out front now in his GT86, entering in. Anthony right there with him, goes wide for that inside clip, both of them just a little bit, and here is where we have the contact. Now there is a decel zone there coming up the hill and in that outside zone, but so it'll be a tough one for the judges to look at. They might take their time on this one and make sure they're making the right call. It's again, it's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, I'm just getting the replay out on my screen right now, and again, it just looks like Alexander starts throwing that angle to get ready, and Anthony wasn't expecting it to get ready for the second outside zone, and Anthony wasn't expecting it, and kind of drove up into the side of him, really.
Yeah, certainly. And now Alexander poured on the angle, but you see there Alexander Shavruk getting the win and moving on to that top 16.
Okay, Alexander takes the win there. For us, unfortunately, that comes down to contact. For us, we didn't see Alexander doing anything wrong. He did start to pitch up angle a little bit, but it's well within the decel. It's pretty normal to what we've seen him do before in quali and in practice sessions. Unfortunately, Anthony was just charging a little bit too hard there coming up the hill and just caused a little bit of contact. Unfortunately, at that point, it was over, and Alexander had taken the win. Good battle, though.
As we have our next battle coming up.
I want to say I just heard that we're going to get another server restart. Oh, let's see. Yep. And there it goes. Server restarted. Not sure why. But I did hear from, we'll call it track control. We needed another restart. So here we go. Loading back into the server. We apologize for the round one shenanigans.
You know, we gotta dust off all the old bricks and really get back into the swing of thing after being out of this for quite a while.
Absolutely, a big long break that we take through the summer, but we're back now and trying to get through the first round. Alright, looks like we're in and ready to go. Just need to bring those drivers to the line. They'll take a few moments to reconnect. But we've got Stefan Petrov and Brandon Williams up next. Stefan Petrov will lead first. That new GTR he has, and Brandon Williams will chase him down in that chaser that he used last season, just the new red livery. Good question, Alex, on the Facebook chat there. So drivers typically have to earn their license through our feeder series, which will have more information coming out about that as we get closer to Christmas. That'll be a super exciting one. Then we also recognize the top 5 from DCGP as well. So the ones that didn't already have a VDC license in that top 5, we granted them a VDC license, and they're driving with us this season. They'll just
I'm not
waiting on everybody to get in.
okay. I was gonna say I'm not too sure if maybe Brandon's doing a buy run here, or maybe going for a practice run, but
Yeah, it doesn't quite look like everybody is reconnected.
no.
Looks like we're needing one more server restart. We do apologize for the inconvenience and the technical difficulties here. All right, we are back. We've got the server under control. We do appreciate everybody's patience who stuck around. We're back. We've got Stefan Petrov and Brandon Williams up next here in the top 32 of the first round.
wouldn't be a round one without a couple technical bumps.
Oh, of course not.
That's okay. We get through them together.
We do. As a whole group effort, you know, not just me and you, Tanner. There's Dion in the background doing a bunch of stuff. Chris and all the judges as well putting on this event. And Ali Yusuf, who stepped up and gave us the graphic for the judges. Super appreciate him in helping us out with that as well.
All the awesome people that dedicate their time to this.
Absolutely, it's you know, a small team, but we come together and we make it happen to the best of our ability.
Brandon waiting on the line here. Just waiting for Stefan.
Yep, Stefan getting some heat in his tires. We can hear him just off camera there.
And off they go. So Stefan Petrov in the John Player's Special GTR, and Brandon Williams in that red JZX giving chase. They come through the first few corners here, doing great so far for a lead run from Steven Petrov as they come through the horseshoe, but Brandon not giving them much room to breathe as they transition to head back down the hill. Brandon's going to start closing that gap now, trying not to get too close. Bumper to bumper transition and door to door again across that line.
Yeah, another really good start to a top 32 battle as we go to the replay here. Stefan Petrov out front in his new GTR does cut that line pretty bad there on initiation, but they get it together coming up the hill here. Brandon surging on Stefan's door as they make it around the horseshoe here. Nice transition as they come out by both these drivers. Brandon sticking with him a little bit on a tighter line there, but drops back for that last and final transition, and they finish out the course.
And now we have them back at the line, switched around. So Brandon Williams in that lead lane and Steven Petrov giving chase as they get out of the gate clean. And look at the gap already that Brandon has on Steven off of that launch as Brandon sends it in and just starts pulling away. But now Steven really cutting the line and shallowing his angle to try and catch back up and hits the rear end of Brandon Williams, who is doing an amazing lead run, but Brandon Williams staying with it, in it, even with that contact happening as they come back down the hill and get through the last part of the course and across the line.
They certainly do. We'll go back to the replay here. Brandon Williams now out front, as you said, just a huge gap off the line, and they enter in. You see Brandon not even on camera, and then we switch, and Brandon's still way out front. You see Stefan sacrifice his angle coming up the hill, gives Brandon a tap, but good on Brandon to keep it going, even dropping tires into the dirt there, but powers through. Back down the hill they come, and they finish it out for a great battle between the two.
Just seeing again the replay on my screen, and yeah, seeing the way he immediately shallows up just to try and regain that proximity. But I wonder if that's going to hurt him from the judges.
Yeah, it certainly does, and Brandon gets the win.
Okay, obviously Brandon took the win there. It was a really, really impressive chase from Brandon in that first run. Stefan put down a reasonable lead, but then on that entry he went very, very backwards. And Brandon did a fantastic job chasing that. And then obviously Stefan had a couple of other few areas here and there, dropped a tyre, and Brandon just did a beautiful, beautiful job shadowing that lead. On the reverse of that, Brandon had really good lead himself, and unfortunately there was a little bit of contact at the top of the horseshoe, and Stefan did cause himself quite a bit of separation coming into it. So Brandon had good lead, good chase, and unfortunately Stefan there just taking the loss, and Brandon moving through to the top 16.
And there it is, a quick and easy decision from the judges. And Brandon Williams advances on to the top 16. Our next battle coming up is going to be Daniel Mora and Alexander Holstner. There's Daniel Mora in that 240 SX. And Alexander Holstner in that RPM team Volvo. The coolest looking car, I think, out here today. As they get off the line and head down to the initiation, in they go, and right away they are already having pretty close proximity as they get through that first inside clip and into the second. Good job by Alexander Holstner to keep the proximity up through the horseshoe keyhole as they transition to come back down the hill, and he is just all over Daniel Mora as they come through the final clip now and across the line.
Yeah, another great start. The top 32 is just wild this round, and here we go. Daniel out front in the replay here, and Alexander staying with him really throughout the whole entire course. Once again in this chase position, coming up the hill, matching the angle. I mean, just almost perfect. A little bit less there through that second outside zone, but again, just staying right with him. Has a little hiccup there in that chase position by Alexander, but again, just still stays with him, stays with that proximity and across that finish line.
And now here they are back at the line, switched around. Alexander Holstner in that lead lane and Daniel Mora in the chase lane as they get the go-ahead to start the second half of their battle. Lighten up the tires down the straight is Daniel Mora as they initiate in. Good initiation from Alexander Holstner. Daniel Mora starting to close that gap as he almost messes up the transition, but gets right up on the door of Alexander Holstner, and wheel to wheel as they come around the horseshoe, leaving no room for error, is Daniel Mora on the side of Alexander Holstner as they come through the final clip and finish their run.
They certainly do. Daniel stayed right there with him through that horseshoe as we go back to the replay. Now, Alexander, don't take anything away from this great lead run. Little tentative there on that first transition, but gets it together. Little straight line in there from outside zone to outside zone, but look at Daniel Mora in that chase position, staying just right there with him. Right on the bumper on that last and final transition, and up the hill they go.
We are only 3 battles in and have already had so much excitement, and we're only in the top 32 and only the first part of top 32. It's going to be amazing to see what the 16, the grade 8, and the final 4 are all going to bring us.
Absolutely, as we wait on those judges to slide left or slide right, or maybe one more time between these two. And there it is. Daniel Mora gets the win and moves on to top 16.
Okay, that was a pretty even battle. Realistically, it was lead to lead. They were both really pretty similar, pretty solid jobs. It was just in that chase, really. We felt that Daniel just did that little bit more overall to maintain a slightly cleaner chase run. Specifically, it was at the bottom of the horseshoe coming off of clip 5. Just through that transition, Alex just got himself caught up a little bit through the transition. He didn't go straight, we don't think. He just sort of kept the car drifting right and then had to transition quite late. Whereas Daniel had a cleaner transition through there and dive back on the door. It was very, very small margins, so that one, that's really the only thing that we can highlight is particularly different. The only other thing is that we did think Alex was maybe slowed down a little more than Daniel did coming up the hill, but it wasn't terrible, and Daniel does a good job shadowing it, so really it just comes down to that little thing where Alex just got himself caught up coming out of clip 5, but really, really good battle.
And there's that decision from our head judge, Chris. We wait for our next battle, which is going to be Zach O'Sullivan and Brian Garcia.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think Brian Garcia is going to be able to make his battle, so Zach is going to get a bye run here in top 32.
This is the first bye run I've seen in a very long time here at the Virtual Drift Championships.
Yeah, it certainly is. I'm not sure what happened with Brian and why he couldn't make his top 32, but either way, we'll get to see Zach shred the course once more while he takes his bye run.
Zach's bye run all done. We have our next battle lined up and ready to go. Christian Petrov versus Christoph Dizzidon. Petrov in the S14. Christoph Dizzidon in the Falcon S14. Or S15, sorry. As they initiate in, Christian Petrov out front. Ooh, and a little bit of a hit there from Dizzidon as they transition into the second inside clip and come into the 2 outside zone. Dizzidon trying to keep that pressure on Christian Petrov as they transition once more to come down the hill. And there they are, another little tap there from Christoph as they come around the final clip and across the line.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be an interesting one to look at as we go back to the replay. Christian Petrov out front, leading Christoph through the course here. Decent initiation, gets on throttle, and as you said, a little tap there, messing up Christian's line just a little bit. And then weird kind of line going from outside zone to outside zone there. As you see, he didn't fill the top of the hill, but Christoph stays with him pretty well here. And then another slight mistake there from Christian in that lead position on that last and final transition there. It didn't quite get settled to angle.
Yeah, looking at it again now on mine, it's definitely a close one, but we'll see how they do on the second half of the battle. So we now have Dizzidon out front and Petrov giving chase. Off they go. Sleeping a little bit at the line was Dizzidon, but now he's gotten up to speed and initiating in he goes as Petrov already falls way behind but catches right back up on the transition as they climb up the hill, come around the 2 outside zones. Christoph doing a decent job around those outside zones. They come out of the horseshoe and back down the hill, and Christian just keeping a good proximity, nice and close but not too far away, and across the line they come.
Yeah, a good second half to the battle here as we go to the replay. Christoph now out front, does wash a little bit after all that speed he had coming into the initiation, but up the hill they go. Christian catches back up in that S14, chasing him down through the keyhole. Christoph gets a little bit of a gap there on Christian in that lead position, and then down across that finish line they come.
Yeah, so obviously Christian takes the win there. That was tighter than I think it might have appeared. It was, from my perspective, I gave that, the first run was a 6-4 to Christian, owing to the fact that Christoph had some contact there coming into the first turn that I think Christian did a great job hanging on to. And then up the hill, there was a bit more contact, but I personally sort of felt that one was 50-50, as there was Christian did angle up quite a lot and Christoph was diving, so kind of sort of incidental. But for me, as I say, that first run was marked as a 6-4 to Christian, and then on that second run, Christoph had quite a wild entry. Didn't quite get the line right coming up through, and then Christian just backs off, gives him the space to get himself sorted out, and then just slowly got back on the door. So again, that second one was then 6-4 to Christian. So Christian just taking the battle overall and doing enough when it counted.
And there's the decision there with Christian Petrov moving in to face Zach O'Sullivan in the top 16.
That is certainly going to be a battle to watch out for. Zach coming out strong today in qualifying 4th. Christian qualifying 13th, but looking great in battles.
And again, with how close the competition was during qualifying, I mean, if they bring those qualifying runs into their battles, I mean, there was only a handful of points between the top driver and the bottom of the 32. So really, it's anyone's win today.
It certainly is. So that's going to round up our first group. We're loading in the second group now, but no need for a server restart. We'll just let them load on in. They'll get a couple of practice runs, and then we'll get right back to the top 32. And first up, we'll have last season's champion, Tikon Poleski, going up against Luciano Carnero. Tikon qualifying 5th today with that strong score. And just looking really consistent in qualifying today. So a big task in front of Luciano today here in the top 32.
I mean, to be in Luciano's shoes too, to go up against, you know, the winner of last year's competition took home the championship. So it's definitely some pressure on Luciano right now, but I'm sure he wants it just as bad as anyone else. So he will be fighting twice as hard to make sure he makes it through to the top 16.
Absolutely. Again, just such a big task ahead of Luciano. He has got a lot on his plate. Tikon is just so consistent. Even when you push Tikon into one more times, he comes out with the same exact runs and just puts it on people's doors in the chase position.
Well, we will see how these two go. So we have Tikon Poleski in the D-Max S14 and and Luciano Carnero in that Link ECU 240SX as they initiate in, and beautiful entry from Tikon, but Luciano is not giving up in that chase position and staying right with him. Look at that lead run from Tikon there, but the chase run is nothing to shake a stick at as Luciano is not letting them have any room for breathing as they come through and cross the line for the finish.
Man, I tell you what, I am impressed by Luciano here in this chase position against Tikon Poleski out front. Nice initiation by both. Super smooth lead from Tikon Poleski here out front, adding in that angle, filling those outside zones. But look at Luciano staying right there with him on the bumper as they transition. Backs off a little bit there, but surges right back onto Tikon Poleski in that chase position.
Now we have them ready for the second half of their battle. Now Luciano Carnero will be leading, and Tikon Poleski will be giving chase. Countdown begins, and off they go. Luciano now out front. Tikon giving chase. They initiate in. Luciano coming right nice and tight to that first inside clip, but look at the proximity from Tikon through those first few clipping points as they come into the horseshoe. Now Tikon putting on the pressure, staying super close to the door of Luciano as they transition and come down the hill. But Luciano doing an amazing lead run here, which might have been why Tikon was able to follow as good as he could.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, lead to lead, chase to chase here is very similar. Tikon is a little bit more aggressive there on the initiation, right there on the bumper as they come up the hill, and just tucks right in. at the top of this hill here and stays with him as they go through the horseshoe. Transition out, Tikon stays with him a little bit better there. But again, Luciano out front just making a super smooth, clean run. And they go across that finish line.
Yeah, it will be interesting. I mean, we might even be looking at our first one more time battle of the day.
Yeah, could Luciano send Tikon Poleski season 4? Oh no, and Tikon Poleski is going to get the win and move on into top 16. Wait to hear from Chris on that one.
Tikon takes the win there. Lead to lead, he was just that little bit cleaner. Luciano, unfortunately, just had a couple of little errors, a couple of little tyre drops in places. But it was chase to chase. Luciano does do a really good job in that chase position. Tikon did exactly what we asked for in briefing, which is put down, as close to a 100-point qualifying run as he can. And Luciano did absolutely capitalise on that. He did have the advantage going into run 2, and then Tikon just replied with just a slightly better chase. He was just that little bit closer overall. The proximity was always there. There was always that bit more pressure being applied. It was a really, really calculated chase run from Tikon. Really, really good driving.
And there is the decision. The Tikon Poleski moving into the top 16, knocking out Luciano Carnero. And now for our next battle, Alexander Element versus Yoni Matinen. Alexander Element in that Origin S14. Alexander Element in the S14, and then Yoni Matinen in that Mercedes Petronas AMG as they come down the hill and initiate in. And whoa, huge over-rotation from Yoni, losing him a lot of ground as Alexander keeps on it and keeps going as Yoni is doing everything he can to catch back up by completely missing the outer zone there as they transition, come back down the hill, trying to make this not an incomplete chase run from Yoni as he gets just near the proximity as they cross back over the line.
Yeah, he certainly did. Now, Yoni did a good job, catching back up to Element. As we know, Element is really fast, but unfortunate mistake there in the chase position by Yoni. Just washing out on that initiation and just leaving the door wide open for Alexander Element to continue on with his super clean lead run. Really the same thing we saw him do in qualifying. So, not too big of a surprise there from Element in that lead position.
Well, now they are spun back around. We now have Yoni Matinen in the lead position. And Alexander Element ready to give chase as they take off down the hill for the second half of their battle. Initiating in goes Yoni Matinen, but right on the door is Alexander Element as they transition to the second inside clip and go up the hill to the first outside zone. Doing a good job is Yoni to make sure he's filling those zones. But right there is Alexander Element again, giving no breathing room for any mistakes as they do one last transition through the last inside clip and finish door to door.
They certainly do, and we'll go right back to the replay again. Yoni now out front in that big Mercedes, and Element doing a fantastic job in the chase position here. Coming up the hill, doesn't quite fill the top there, but fills that outside zone. Element doing everything really he needs to do in that chase position to solidify the win and move on into the top 16. And there it is, you see on the board, Alexander Element moving on to top
Alex
16.
Takes the win there. Lead to lead. Alex is a little bit cleaner, but not much. Yoni does have a pretty solid lead there, but it's in that chase position, unfortunately. Just entering in, Yoni over-rotates in his chase, and then is just trying to make up the ground from there. In the reverse of that, Alex does almost a picture-perfect mirror. That was a really, really dominant chase. Full marks to Yoni as well, after pull together after that mistake he had, and then had a real nice lead run. But yeah, Alex just really did dominate that chase.
And there we go. Alex taking the win. Moving on to take on Poleski in the top 16, which again will be another super close battle. Now for our next one, Alan Hines in the Pro Drift Academy S15 and Marcus Lindquist in that pink 240SX as they get off the line and start heading down the hill. A good initiation there from Alan Hines as Marcus cuts the line there, trying to keep up with the speed of Alan as they come up that hill, but now closing the proximity and getting on the door of Alan as they rotate through the horseshoe and transition back down the hill. Here they come again as Marcus starts to get closer and ever so closer to Alan Hines as they cross the line.
Yeah, absolutely. Here we go back to the replay. Alan Hines out front leading Marcus through the course. And Marcus, I mean, you could almost call that a late initiation there in the chase position. It took him a really long time to get that car set to angle, but once he did, he was able to stay with Alan Hines through the course here. Nice transition coming out of the horseshoe and back down the hill, surging up on Alan, backs up for that last and final one, and across the finish line they go.
Well, now we have them flip back around again. We have Marcus Lundquist in that lead lane and Alan Hines giving chase as they sprint off as soon as the call is given. And initiating in with a nice Manji entry is Marcus Lundquist. Huge initiation, missing out on that first inside zone. Alan Hines just doing what he can to put the car right beside Marcus's as they come around the horseshoe, trying to grab that front inside clip, which they do. But right on the door and bumper is Alan Hines as they make one last transition and go door to door almost through the last half of the course.
Absolutely. Alan really pushing for it in that second half of the course there. We go back to the replay and we see Marcus drop a little bit of tire, which I think is why he washed out from that inside clip. But he gets it together, puts the foot down, up the hill, and Alan just doesn't let him leave and stays right with him through the rest of that course, giving him a little tap there and really just sort of solidifying that win once again. There it is. You see Alan Hines gets the win. We'll hear from Chris in just a second.
Alan takes the win there. In that first run, I have to give props to Marcus. That was a really, really good chase from him. He never quite angle matched, but he did absolutely go for aggression and went absolute proximity. I do love seeing a bit of proximity in chase. Unfortunately, there on his lead, he just overdid it a bit on the entry, washed out, and then from there, Alan did everything he needed to just stay with him and just take the win through. But I have to give, again, credit to Marcus for that great chase. And equally, credit to Alan for putting down such a great lead run.
And there it is. Alan Hines getting the win over Marcus and moving on to the top 16. And for our next battle, we're going to have Tristan O'Leary versus Victor Alves. Tristan O'Leary in that Drift Spec 180SX and Victor Alves in the S15. As they get off the gate, and a Manji initiation again from Tristan O'Leary as he comes in, punting that front inside clip. Right on the bumper, though, is Victor Alves. They come up the hill to get through the two outside zones as they come through the horseshoe and transition back. But look at Victor Alves all over Tristan O'Leary as they come through the final clip and across that line.
You know, this is always one of my favorite set of battles, those close qualifiers, 15th and 18th, going at it. Tristan O'Leary out front, leading Victor Alves, going to the replay. Now, Tristan does cut that line pretty bad there in that lead position, but Victor just stays right with him and through the rest of the course as well. Yeah, these tight battles, just one after another here in the top 32, are tough.
They sure are, but again, these guys are coming out fighting today, and they're showing it, are their best games here in the top 32. as we see Victor Alves out front and Tristan O'Leary now giving chase. Tristan's really smoking up the tires coming down the straight as they initiate in. Victor Alves having a good initiation through that first sector, but look at the aggression from Tristan as they come up and over the two outside zones. But Victor doing a great job of just keeping the car, even though he's getting bullied around by Tristan as they come down the hill now, bumper to bumper again, and across that line.
Yeah, Tristan really living up to his Tristan the Train O'Leary name here in the chase position. Now, he does let Victor get away from him a little bit on initiation, but this transition right here in the way he dives in, he cuts the line quite a bit there, but again, just stays right with him. Super aggressive dive there, giving him a little tap across that inside clip, and down the hill they come. Another just super even battle here, and we're still in the top 32.
It just doesn't end.
I'm not sure if it does, but look at there. Victor Alves gets the win. Matt going one more time, but Chris and Ed going with Victor Alves.
Yeah, split call there. Sorry. Victor takes the win. Myself and Ed both giving it to Victor, owing mostly to the second chase run. They both did a very comparable kind of error in chase. They both dropped a tyre pretty far over that right hand onto those sausage curbs. Unfortunately, Tristan, when he did it, he hit it and it upset his car a lot more, and then that affected him the whole way up the hill, whereas Victor did a very similar thing, but kept it together much better in the chase, and had that little bit more aggression on the latter half of the run as well, we felt. On the flip side of that, I think Matt said that he just felt that it was just a little bit too close to call. He felt wanted to see it one more time. Myself and Ed saw it slightly.
And a split call for a very close battle between those two. But Tristan O'Leary moving on to take on, Victor Alves moving on to take on Alan Hines in the top 16. As we move on to our next battle, Jonathan Simpson in that GC8 and against Tyler Nelson in that Shelby Mustang. And off they go. Down the hill comes Jonathan Simpson. Tyler Nelson right behind him as they initiate in. Already putting the pressure on is Tyler, but pulling away now is Jonathan Simpson as they come up the hill. Tyler having to cut the line a little bit to hopefully regain the proximity that he lost coming up the hill as they transition, start heading now back down the hill. Hitting the inside clips is Jonathan, but Tyler just trying to stay on him and stick with him till the finish line.
Yeah, maybe a little over aggressive here in the chase position by Tyler in this initiation and first turn here. He stays with Jonathan there, but as soon as they make that transition and go up the hill, Jonathan is on a mission. There you see Tyler cutting that line just a little bit. Now, I'm not sure what happened there. It looked like Tyler maybe dropped a tire and it upset the front, or he rode up Jonathan's wheel. I'm not sure, but something definitely happened there through the horseshoe.
Definitely did, but he's gonna have a chance to make up for that chase run. For now, Tyler Nelson's in the lead and Jonathan Simpson's giving chase. Squirrely off the line comes that Mustang of Tyler Nelson as he initiates in. Jonathan Simpson right there following his line as they transition up the hill. Getting deep. Oh, look at the angle from Tyler as he throws it in to the horseshoe section, but Jonathan Simpson not letting up and applying the pressure as they come back down the hill and transition one more time before they cross that line.
Yeah, and there we see the Tyler we know going for that big angle going up the hill as we go back to the replay. Now, it took a while for him to get settled into that initiation there, but once he did, run was looking smooth here, adds on just a ton of angle going up the hill and mashes on that throttle and stays pretty smooth here, pouring on even more angle there, coming down the hill, almost choking Jonathan up, but Jonathan does a very good job staying with him, backing off for the transitions and finishing out the course together.
Okay, we'd like to see that one more time, please. We just felt that in the lead there with Jonathan, he had a really big angle into that first corner that made it very awkward for Tyler, and Tyler does a great job avoiding contact. And then gets back together, he gets back on the door, has good aggression there, sort of from the midpoint on. Then in the reverse of that, we also felt that Tyler had quite an odd entry himself that was quite late and, again, a little awkward to chase. And then Jonathan was closer through sort of the first half and was a bit more aggressive in the second, but we just couldn't see a winner, so we'd just like to see that one again and just hopefully have a cleaner leads this time.
And there it is, our first one more time of Season 5, but definitely not the last. So we're going to watch Jonathan Simpson and Tyler Nelson go at it one more time here. So now Jonathan Simpson in that lead lane, Tyler Nelson giving chase for their one more time battle. And off they go. Down the hill comes Jonathan Simpson as they initiate in, and good angle from Jonathan, but washing out really wide, giving Tyler that opportunity to catch back up. Tyler cutting the track quite a bit to keep that proximity, but Simpson keeps going and puts the car where it needs to be as he's trying to get on that throttle and make up for that earlier mistake, but Tyler Nelson is not letting him get away on this one more time battle as they cross the line.
Absolutely, Tyler keeping up with that aggression that he had from the previous one, but cleaned it up in this chase position. You see Jonathan washes out big time in the lead position across that first inside clip, but after that really gets it together here. Tyler staying with him through the keyhole and around that inside clip, and back down the hill they come. Another dive from Tyler in the chase position and across that finish line.
Now it's going to be Tyler's turn to show what kind of lead run he can lay down for this one more time battle, and Jonathan to give chase. They go. Again, Tyler Nelson out front. Jonathan Simpson giving chase the last half of this one more time battle. Is sending it in, goes Tyler Nelson. Jonathan Simpson staying right with them right from the initiation as they come into the two outside zones. Tyler doing a great job to put the car where it needs to be, but Simpson still trying to get all over the door of Tyler Nelson as they transition one more time and come across that line.
They certainly do. Going back to the replay, a lot cleaner once again in the second half of the battle here. A lot better on the initiation by Tyler in the lead position as well. He washes just a little bit, but makes the transition across the inside clip there and up the hill they both come. Jonathan doing a very good job in that chase position once again. Leaves a little bit of gap there, but pulls him back, going down the hill, and again for this last and final transition. Wait to hear from those judges. Again, this was their one more time battle between Jonathan Simpson and Tyler Nelson.
Definitely a hard battle to call, as both drivers, you know, they had their mistakes on each of their runs, and now we get to sit here and wait for their final decision.
And there it comes through. Tyler Nelson gets the win and moves on. I'm sure we'll hear from Chris in just a second on that decision.
Tyler takes the win there. Again, we just felt that Jonathan had a slightly awkward entry. He did better. He didn't check up, but he did again go a little bit too far backwards for our liking. And Tyler did a really good job there, matching and was super aggressive and present throughout the rest of the chase. On the reverse of that, Tyler doesn't have a perfect entry, but it's a lot better than it was. Again, washes a little bit wide off the first inner, and then from there we just felt that Tyler put a foot wrong in lead. Had a little bobble coming up the hill, but nothing major. And unfortunately, we just didn't feel that Jonathan was aggressive in the chase as Tyler was. So for us, Tyler just takes that overall.
And there we have it. Tyler Nelson getting the win over Jonathan Simpson. And moving on to our last few spots of the top 16. Up next, we're going to have Ali Arslan in that RPM team S15 against Derek Bardot in the other S15, sorry, for Ali Arslan, and then Derek Bardot in the S14 as they come off the line to start their battle. Right away, Ali getting out there. Really good initiation from Ali. Nice and clean to the inside. A little tap there from Derek trying to get up and on the door to Ali, but Ali's not phased by it, but Derek's right on the door of Ali as they come through the horseshoe section and transition back down the hill. Derek not leaving him any room for a mistake as they come door to door across the line.
Absolutely. Every chance I got to drive with Derek over the past couple of weeks, he has really been on one, and it shows it here again in his top 32 battle. Now, does give Ali a little nudge there across that first inside clip, but again, those lead drivers are supposed to stay off that rumble strip there with their front tires and back up a little bit to those hash marks. So it'll be an interesting one for those judges to break down. Other than that, Derek stays right with Ali, and Ali makes overall really solid lead run.
Well, now we'll get to see how Ali does in the chase. Derek Bardot now leads the second half of the battle. As we see Ali smoking up the tires down that front straight. And Derek Bardot initiating in. Good initiation from Derek, not as close to the clipping zone as Ali was in the first one, but coming through the outside zones, just dipping a tire into the grass as they come around that front clip on the keyhole section. Dropping it downhill. Right away, though, Ali is still, again, all over Derek, trying to make up for that chase run that he pulled off.
Yeah, he really was. I mean, he stayed with Derek all through this run. Derek making a really nice, clean lead run as well out front. Leaves a little bit of gap there, but as you see, Ali pulls right up to the door of Derek through the horseshoe here, stays with him around that inside clip, and back down the hill as well. A little bit on a tighter line there, but sometimes it's needed to stay with that fast chase driver. And we'll go to the judges. Judges seem to be taking their time. This could go one more time. Such a clean battle by both. Great lead runs, great chases. Now, Ali did have that little bit of a mistake in his lead by cutting that line, but then got bumped by Derek. And look at there, Ali will get the win. Ed going with one more time, but Chris and Matt going with Ali.
Ali takes the win there. Myself and Matt both concur that lead to lead, Ali just had a slightly clean lead overall. For me, from my perspective, he was a little bit cleaner coming into that first sector on the entry, especially. Derek just washes a little bit wide, carries a little bit too much angle down in. And then after that point, Derek was, in his chase, a little bit closer overall, but equally I felt that Derek did then also drop a tire at the top of the horseshoe, which did lead to him, sort of semi-compromised line from that. So for me, it was just enough overall there to give it to Ali, because I felt lead to lead, Ali was just that little bit tight and a little bit cleaner overall, and then chase to chase, Derek was a little more aggressive, I will grant that, but I didn't feel that was enough to warrant one more time, given the mistakes that Derek had made in his lead. Whereas Ed felt that the slight lack of aggression from Ali's chase was enough to warrant one more time.
And there you have it, getting the win. Ali Arslan moving on to face Tyler Nelson in the top 16.
Another great battle to look forward to in the top 16. Man, this whole event is just turning out to be great battle after great battle after great battle. As next up, we're going to have Fonseca against Vita Road.
Absolutely. They are part of that final group, but somehow Fonseca already made it in there. He was at the line, but he'll go back, wait on Vita Road to connect so that they can have their battle. Fonseca qualifying 5th and Vita Road qualifying 30th. All right, last call from the judges, bringing Fonseca and Vita Road to the line. Battle of Brazil here in the top 32.
All of the Brazil fans, give them some love in the chat. And Cow changing chassis this year to the S15 and doing a splendid job in that S chassis.
There we go. We can hear them come to the line. They'll probably put some heat to those tires before they get ready to send it for their first battle here in top 32. Round 1 of Season Fire. And no, they're going to come right to the line. They're ready to go. Ready to send it.
Again, Fonseca in that S15. And Vita Road in the A90 Supra as they come in for their initiation. Cow out front. Joe giving chase, and Cow with a beautiful entry into that first inside clip, leaving a bit of space from Vita Road there as they come up the hill through the 2 outside zones. Jones starting to find a bit of proximity towards Cow as they come down the hill now, but Cow's starting to make a bit of a gap again on Vita Road as Joe really cuts the line there to try and regain the proximity as they cross the line.
He certainly did here. As we go back to the replay, we can see Fonseca just super fast in his S15 through the course here. Really nice initiation. Doesn't quite get to angle there on that first transition, but then pours it on going up the hill nice and smooth. And then here's where Jean reels him back in, but then drops back as they transition out of the keyhole there and back down the hill. And as you said, cuts the line across the rumble strips to try and stay with Fonseca out front.
Fonseca very speedy in that S15, so Vita Road is going to have to lay it all down on this lead run. And here they go for the second half of the battle and the 4th last spot in the top 16. Who will it be, Vita Road or Fonseca as they initiate in? Joe really slowing up on that initiation as Cow gives him a little bit of a tap there, but sticks with him as another snap to angle is done into the second outside zone, but not bugging Cow whatsoever as Cow's all over Vita Road with way closer proximity. And as they transition into the last clipping point, they finish door to door.
They certainly do. Fonseca really putting on the pressure here in the chase position as they enter in. And as you said, Jean almost comes to a stop there. I mean, really slow on initiation, but once he picks back up throttle, it gets back online. Pours on the angle there, and Cal does a very good job in that chase position to do the same and stay with him as well. And then the dive coming back down the hill, and that last and final transition before giving him a bump.
Just a little, hey, how are you? I'm right here.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, just before that transition, and look at there, Cal Fonseca getting the win, moving on to top 16.
Okay, KO takes the win there. We just felt that then lead to lead, chase to chase, there was just KO was that little bit cleaner overall. Yes, KO does make a tyre drop on that last on clip 7, which, as we'd highlighted in the briefing, is a no-no, which for me had taken that from 7-3 advantage to KO to 6-4 advantage. Then on the reverse of that, Joao has a very, very long decel into that first corner, so we felt that really it was more his fault for the contact than KO's. KO didn't really do anything wrong, was online, was going for the door, he just didn't really have nowhere left to go. And then throughout the rest of the run, KO was much more aggressive in that chase position, so KO takes the win.
There we have it, Cal taking the win and moving on. Next, we've got Reese Tatterson. Yes, that's Reese out front in the Pro Drift Academy S15, not Alan Hines. He's ready to face off against Reese Tatterson, or excuse me, Pontus in that chase position in his new RX-7. Big initiation from Reese Tatterson out front, down across that line, and smooth going up the hill as both these drivers here. Pontus really going for it in the chase position, staying with Reese. Reese pouring on the angle around the inside clip. Oh, and gives him a little tap, not allowing him to transition back down the hill. But they'll make their final one, and they will go across that finish line together. We'll go back to the replay. Again, Reese out front in that Pro Drift Academy S15. Entering in, drops a little tire there, but holds it together along the rumble strip. And everything is going super smooth here by both these drivers, sticking with each other. Reese pouring on the angle, and I think that's where it got Pontus in that chase position. Couldn't drop back behind him, let him transition, but they again finish out that course together. We'll switch it up. Pontus will now lead, getting in that new RX-7. And Reese will give chase. Go clean through the chicane. Initiating in. Picking up that throttle super heavy there as Pontus doesn't quite get to angle. Oh, now he does. Up the hill on the rumble strip and filling that next outside zone as well. Here they come through the keyhole. Oh, and another little bump there from Reese in the chase position. And there they go across that finish line. But we'll go back to the replay. This is going to be a tough one for the judges to pick apart here. Again, Pontus out front. Does cut that line just a little bit. Judges wanted drivers to stay off that first rumble strip from the lead driver. But Reese, again, doing a very good job in that chase position to stay with him. Despite Pontus cutting that line, gives him a little bump before that transition across the finish line. Wait on those judges and their decision. Oh, it goes for Reese Tatterson. Getting on Chris and Matt. And there it is. Reese Tatterson gets the win and will move on into the top 16.
Reese takes the win on that occasion. It literally came down to the horseshoe just as they came out the horseshoe in Pontus's chase. He just made a little bit of contact with Reese's back bumper that just held Reese's transition up. The reason myself and Matt took a little bit more time there over that call is we were just triple, quadruple checking ourselves on the replay. I think Ed was a bit more sure about himself, but we just wanted to double check. We just checking to see if there was any contact there from Reese on the transition, but no, we're putting that one down to more. It just looked more like there was a bit of sort of lag from Pontus's side rather than it being anything Reese had done. So for that reason, lead to lead, they were both really good jobs. Chase to chase, the only thing was literally just, unfortunately, Pontus just got himself a little bit too tight in that pocket and just clipped Reese's bumper on that transition into clip 6. Other than that, that was really, really tight. That was a fantastic battle.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Reese Tatterson will move on to face Cal Fonseca in the top 16. And next up, Shoma Takaya and Yuna Warren. Hopefully I'm saying that right, Yuna. We'll bring you to the line. And Shoma will lead first. Yuna will give chase. Shoma now in that S13. Last season in that crazy red S14, if you can remember. And here we go. Down the long straight. A nice initiation from Shoma Takaya out front, as well as Yona in the chase position. Up the hill they come. Matching the angle nicely is Yona. And filling those outside zones tight to the inside clip. And look at Yona right there with him, bumper to bumper through that transition before coming down the hill. As well as the last and final one, they'll come across the line together. Go back to that replay. Shoma out front, entering in. Really smooth here. Picks up throttle when he needs to. Stays tight to those inside clips. But again, Yuna just matching him up that hill. Pouring on the big angle as both of them. Catching those inside clips back down the hill. Really tight transitions here by the both of them. And they finish their run out. Switch them up. Yuna will now lead in that big BMW. Nice initiation again. Yuna out front. And starting to pull a little gap on Shoma. But here comes Shoma in the chase position. Surging ahead here. Trying to stay with Yuna around this course. Oh, a little hiccup there in the chase position. Couldn't quite transition on time. But pulls it together. And we'll go to the replay. Here they come down the hill again. Yuna out front. Shoma in that chase position. Good initiation by both drivers there, and then up the hill. Nice little surge from Shoma Takaya in the chase position into that second outside zone. Feels maybe a little wide there, but there's the mistake from Shoma in that chase position. Just couldn't quite transition in time, but gets it together really quickly to clean it up. Oh, and look at here, Chris and Matt and Ed all going for Shoma Takaya. Shoma Takaya will move on into the top 16 and face the winner of our last battle, Connor Shanahan and Serrano.
Okay, Shoma takes the win there, and that was really, really small margins. Lead to lead, they are both super, super comparable runs. Shoma is ever so slightly cleaner online than Yuna was, and then we just felt that in the chase, Shoma was just that little bit more aggressive overall. Very, very small margins though. We're talking, sort of in the breakdown, it'd be, run one would be sort of more or less a 5-5, and then that second run would just go 6-4 to Shoma. That was super, super close.
Absolutely, it certainly was, but Shoma will get the win and move on. And our last and final battle of top 6 top 32, Connor Shanahan and Sarunas. Connor will lead first as he qualified higher. And they're at the line, ready to go. Lean through the chicane and down the hill they come. Nice smooth initiation. Oh no, and gets hit by Sarunas in the chase position. Sarunas backs off, lets Connor get back out front again. Playing it safe here, and then right back on the door of Connor. But clean it up with a good lead run as well. And Sarunas doing what he can to make this run better. But a big mistake there in the chase position. Will go to the replay. Connor entering in here. Doesn't look like he dropped too much speed as well, and gets hit by the rear of Sarunas. Really looks like Sarunas just couldn't drop that speed in that big car. They'll go through the keyhole here, door to door. Does a good job of cleaning the run up, and they finish it out. Switch it up. Sarunas now out front in his big wide body Mustang. Down the hill he comes, entering in, picks up throttle. And up the hill they come, really digging in is Sarunas out front. And filling both those zones coming up the hill. Little tap from Connor in that chase position. They'll transition, come back down the hill. And Connor given no room as they make that last and final transition across that finish line. Back to the replay again, Sarunas out front. Apologize to Connor for his flag not showing up. Having an issue with the Ireland flag coming up there. But again, good job in the chase position by Connor Shanahan here, sticking right with him, doing really everything he needs to, including a little extra with that tap there in the horseshoe. And down the hill they come and across that finish line. Wait on the judge's decision, and here it comes. Connor Shanahan gets the win with that big mistake from Sarunas.
Connor takes the win there. Obviously, lead to lead. Connor's just a little bit cleaner overall. Unfortunately, really, it's chase to chase. Sarunas just makes contact there coming into that first corner in his chase run. And from that point, obviously, Connor has fair advantage, holds it through. And then on the reverse of that, to give credit to both of them, Sarunas does put down a really solid lead line. And then Connor absolutely capitalises on that and goes for the door. So, fair play, good battle, and Connor takes the win.
He sure does. He'll move on to face Shoma Takaya in the top 16 later on today. We'll bring in top 16. No breaks whatsoever here today. Bring in the very next group to kick off top 16. Starting with Erikas Jerkus and Alexander Shavruk. Erikas, a longtime Virtual Drift Championship driver. And Alexander, I believe this is his third season, still in that GT86. I can see all the drivers loading in. Post that bracket one more time for everybody to see. There in the chat. Bring up that bracket as well on stream again. Erikas Jerkus and Alexander Shavruk will start out top 16. Next will be Brandon Williams and Daniel Mora. Zach O'Sullivan and Christian Petrov. Econ Poleski and Alexander Element starting our first group of top 32. There, Erica's already at the line, ready to go. There they are, waiting on the judges. Go ahead. They are off. Clean start from Erica's through the chicane. Looks like Alexander staying right there with him for the initiation. Look at here. Erica's washes just a little bit wide off that inside clip, but gets the second one very clean. Nice and smooth, just like his qualifying run today. Nice throttle control. Oh, and a little tap from Alexander in the chase, angling out Erica's. Oh man. Right back to the replay here. Erica's out front. And Alexander going for that door-to-door action on the initiation there. Here they come up the hill. Again, door-to-door. Alexander doing a very nice job here. Maybe even rubbing him a little bit here through the keyhole. There they make that transition, and there's the tap. Angling out Erica's just a little bit, but Erica's doing a fantastic job holding it together and finishing out that run. Switch it up. Alexander Shavrouk will now lead. Just burning them down off the line as both those drivers. And into the first turn. They go. Tight across the inside clip. Ooh, and little tentative there from Alexander. Does get a little bit of a gap there. It didn't quite settle in on that transition. And back down the hill they come again on a super tight line and not a whole lot of angle from Alexander out front in that GT86. Go again right back to that replay. Alexander Shavrouk out front. Entering in, looking really good across his first inside clip. Here we see he doesn't quite get to angle there and then adds it in as he gets to the outside zone. To the top of the hill, Erica's doing a fantastic job in that chase to stay with him. And again, that tight line down the hill. Not a whole lot of angle there before making his last and final transition and across the finish line. Go to the judge's decision, and there it is. Erica Sturgis getting the win and moving on to grade 8. Congratulations, Erica, and I'm sure we'll hear from Chris.
Alexander takes... sorry. No. Ericas takes the win on that occasion, and apparently I can't read anymore. Wonderful. Moving on. Yeah, so lead to lead there. We felt Ericas did a better job overall. Obviously, there was that contact from Alexander coming out of the horseshoe onto Ericas's back quarter that caused Ericas to very nearly over-rotate, and he does a great job to hold on to it. And then on the reverse of that, we did suspect there that Alexander was going a little bit faster in his lead than normal and was trying to, I think, keep as much of a gap between himself and Ericas as possible, which, as we'd highlighted in the briefing, we don't want to see that. We want to see the lead runs be as close to a 100-point qualifying run as possible, which means you've got to have good, solid angle the whole time, and not like cut angle and play too many throttle games to try and gain an advantage and gain a gap from lead. So therefore, Ericas takes the win.
And there you have it from head judge Chris. Erica's moving on to top 8 to face the winner of our next battle, Brandon Williams and Daniel Mora. Brandon Williams out front in that big Dizzidon. Daniel Mora. Oh, it is going to be flipped around. Daniel Mora will lead first as a bracket, it's a little flip-flop there. Go, graphic fixed and all, and we're ready to send him. Daniel Mora out front in his S13 and looking really clean in qualifying earlier today. Qualifying 9th, and up the hill they both come. Brandon's doing a very good job staying with him. Whoa, and almost takes him out, but does a fantastic job there in that chase position. And down the hill they come. Look at Brandon in that big boat. And across the line they go. Great driving by both. Going to the replay here. Daniel Mora out front. Brandon Williams giving chase. And Daniel really looking the same he did in qualifying. Nice and smooth lead run out front. And Brandon making that huge dive coming up the hill. Trying to make that big car come to a stop. Or at least slow down. You know, we don't want to come to a stop. But great job. And we will flip them around. Brandon Williams will now lead. Daniel Mora will give chase. Brandon, longtime returning driver. He's been in this JZX for a couple of seasons now. Entering in. Nice and smooth. Daniel Mora trying to reel him in. Coming up the hill here. Oh, and on a tighter line is Daniel in that chase position. Brandon really smooth out front here in the lead. Opening the door for Daniel Mora to get on it and with him and across the finish line. Go right back to the replay here. Brandon Williams out front, entering in, picks up throttle when he needs to, and tight across that inside clip. Drops one on that rumble strip, which they're allowed to do in that lead position. And there you see Daniel trying to get up the hill and back onto the door of Brandon Williams. Really going after that win is both of these drivers. Very similar leads and pretty similar chases as well. And there it is. Brandon Williams will take the win and move on.
Okay, Brandon takes the win on this occasion. We just felt that their lead to lead, they were both really similar. They're both really good lead lines. It's just in that chase position. Brandon was just more out and out aggressive the whole time and really pushed for that proximity. Daniel did have good proximity, but unfortunately it just wasn't quite as aggressive and he wasn't quite as insistent on keeping right in the pocket of the lead car. So unfortunately, there Brandon takes the win and does a really good job.
He certainly does. Brandon will move on to face Erica Sturgis in the top 8. And next up, we've got Zach O'Sullivan and Christian Petrov. Zach being a rookie driver, but qualifying super high today with that 4th place position. Why he will lead this battle first, and off they go. Entering in and picking up throttle. Look at Zach out front, super smooth, pulling a little bit of gap, but look at there, Christian reeling him back in. Oh, and on a tighter line, he's not gonna quite fill that outside zone at the top of the hill, but he's doing everything he can to stay with Zach out front. Zach looking super planted, super smooth, and fast as well. On to the replay here. And Zach out front, riding that rumble strip, picking up throttle exactly when he should. Nice and smooth transition and on throttle up the hill, filling both those outside zones. And Christian falling short of that second one, coming up to the top of the hill. But after that, does a fine job of staying with him as they come across that finish line. We'll switch it up. Christian Petrov out front. Zach O'Sullivan giving chase. Zach can move on even further as a rookie driver here in the first round of competition. And Christian washes just a little bit there on that first turn, but up the hill they come, and Zach applying the pressure in the chase position, sticking with him as they come around that inside clip, and down the hill they go. Zach diving in, up on the door once again. He needs to back off for that last transition. He does, and across the finish line. Go to the replay once more. Again, Christian out front, leading Zach through the course, and does a very good job here. Does wash from that inside clip on the first turn. After that, really settles in to his lead run here. But in doing so, just opens the door wide open for Zach O'Sullivan to stay with him. down across that finish line will go to the judges. And there it is. Zach O'Sullivan gets the win and moves on to grade 8. Congratulations, Zach. And great runs by Christian Petrov as well.
Zach takes the win there, puts on almost a clinic really in lead line. That was a fantastic lead. Christian does a pretty reasonable job there chasing, but then on the reverse of that, Christian does himself put down a nice solid lead line, and Zach just goes full attack from the word go. The transition timing there that Zach had a little bit of separation coming into one, just waited, transitioned perfectly just in front of Christian, and then just straight back on that door up the hill. It was a thing of beauty. That was a really, really good demonstration of control from Zach in the chase.
It certainly was, and he'll get the win for it and move on to face the winner of our next battle, Tikhon Poleski and Alexander Element. This is a huge one here in top 16. Alexander Element coming just shy of Rookie of the Year last season, and Tikhon Poleski winning last season. He is our returning champion and defending title. Again, this year, drivers will be competing for that custom Grip Royal wheel. Hopefully, we'll be able to show it off next week to everybody. Everybody hyped up. Go and support Grip Royal for supporting us. We can't thank them enough. And we'll show that off next week. And they're off. Tikhon Poleski out front. Entering in, look at the angle from Tikhon. Does wash from that inner clip just a tad there, but up the hill they come in perfect tandem almost, filling those outside zones and around that inside clip, transitioning down the hill. Alexander doing what he needs to do in that chase position, sticking right with Tikhon, as we know Tikhon is a fast driver, and giving him a little bump as they finish out their run. Here we go, back to the replay. Big initiation from Tikhon, washes just a little bit, maybe second hash on that inner clip, but grabs that next one, and up the hill they both come. Fills out that line that the judges have asked for drivers to go to the top of the hill there, getting up to that yellow line. Down the hill they come. Element doing a great job backing off here and diving in as well. Doesn't quite get to the angle he probably should in that chase position there on that last and final transition. Does a fantastic job sticking with him. Switched up, waiting on those judges to send him off. There they go. Element now out front. His green S14. And going for the big initiation as well. Maybe not quite the same angle, but washes even further from that inside clip. Up the hill they come, and look at Tikhon sticking right with him, putting it on the door of Alexander Element, giving him a little bump. And down the hill they come once more. Tikhon trying to reel him back in again. Last and final transition, and they make it together and across that finish line. Again, going right back to the replay. Alexander Element out front, leading Tikhon Poleski through the course here. And super smooth by both. Again, Element washing out wide just a little bit more than Tikhon in that lead position. There's the bump from Tikhon in the chase position, but it doesn't really seem to affect Element really at all in that lead. Down the hill they come, and again for their last and final transition, and across that line. Tough one for the judges to pick apart, I am sure. Really, one mistake I can really think of. Both of them going past that inside clip on the first turn. Elements being a little bit worse. And then chase to chase were super similar. Wait to see if they slide left, slide right, or we go one more time. We see some one more times in the chat already. Ryan Eldina. A lot of suspense with this one. Judges taking their time. Make sure they're making the right decision here. Tyler says one more time. He's not ready. And look at there. Tikon Poleski gets the win and moves on against Alexander Element.
Obviously a split decision there. Myself and Matt going with Tikon, and Ed going for one more time. From my perspective, obviously I think the inciting incident for Ed is the bit of contact from Tikon in his chase coming into clip 4. For me, I have to say that it was full mark to Alexander. He did a really good job to hold on to that. But I also felt that it was quite a small piece of contact in some regards, and I didn't think it upset Alexander enough to really warrant overturning the advantage that I felt that Tikon had overall in the chase, because he had a really, really dominant chase. He was that little bit more aggressive, and then obviously on the reverse of that, on Alexander's chase, coming into that last corner, Alex gets his timing a little bit wrong on transition and has to make a big dive and a big cut to keep back up on Tikon's door. Obviously, lead to lead, aside that, they're pretty comparable. And then the thing I will mention with Tikon is that he does wash a little bit off of clip 1, and then has to correct coming up the hill. But for me, overall, I felt that lead to lead, it was close enough where they both had little things here and there, whereas it was chase to chase. For me, it was just Tikon was that little bit more aggressive. For me, the contact was sort of a comparable sort of fault, as it were, to the jumping over the inner rumble that Element had to do. So for me, it just went to Tikon.
There it is. Great explanation from Chris. Tikon will move on to face Zach O'Sullivan. Zach O'Sullivan qualifying 4th, and Tikon qualifying 5th. So really close qualifying scores there. And we'll get to watch them in the Great 8. And next up we have Alan Hines and Victor Alves. We've got the Irish flag working, and they are off. Alan Hines and his Pro Drift Academy S15. Big swing. And tight across the inside clips there. Up the hill they come. And look at Victor Alves really putting on the pressure to Alan Hines. Giving him some nudges as they go around the keyhole there. Back down the hill they come. Victor again applying the pressure. Needs to back off. And he does so. And across that finish line. Here we go, back to the replay. Alan Hines out front, leading Victor here through the course as best as he can, as he gets bullied around. As soon as they start coming up this hill, there's the first tap, second tap, third tap. Just tapping him all the way around and back down the hill they come. Does a good job backing off, but it does look like Victor Alves might have gotten in the way of Alan Hines making that last and final transition. We're ready to send him off again. Switched up. Victor Alves out front now. And Alan Hines facing him down. Here they come. Alves entering in. Big swing initiation. Picks up throttle. And grabbing those 2 inside clips, and up the hill they come. Alan Hines trying to apply the pressure the same way and sticking with Victor here through the horseshoe. Back out of the keyhole there. Down the hill, picking up that inside clip as both those drivers. And last and final transition as they come across that finish line. Go right back to that replay once again. Victor out front. These are going to be hard to compare here. I think Allen's was maybe a little cleaner here in the chase position. Lead to lead, very, very similar. Allen avoiding the bumps, staying with Victor Alves in this chase position here, backing up for that transition to come back down the hill. And that last and final one as well. We'll go to those judges. If they slide left or slide right. Left for Alan Hines, right for Victor Alves. Ed, Chris, and Matt all go. Alan Hines gets the win, and he'll move on to grade 8.
Okay, Alan takes the win there. I think unfortunately Victor's internet just decided to just give him a bit of issues there on his chase front, which was really unfortunate for him. Equally though, got to give it to Alan, who does a really good lead job. And then obviously, unfortunately, with the little bit of internet hiccup that Victor had on his chase, he did struggle a bit and then caused a bit of contact coming into that last transition. And the reverse of that, Victor's internet then decides to normal again, and then he does give a real good lead. But equally, Alan capitalises on that and really does push for that door. So good battle, just unlucky there, Victor.
It certainly was. Victor really put on the pressure to Alan Hines there and gave him a really good battle. I'm sure we'll see him in future rounds. But next up, we've got Tyler Nelson and Ali Arslan. Ali Arslan will lead first as he qualified higher, qualified 10th. Tyler qualified 26th. And they're off. Ali Arslan out front, leading Tyler Nelson through the course. Big initiation there. Oh, and cuts the course. Ali Arslan, we remember correctly, did the same in top 32 as well, but Tyler doing a fantastic job in chase, sticking with him a little tighter there across the inside clip as well. Really surging forward, looking like the Tyler Nelson that we know. And across that finish line. Going to the replay here again, Ali Arslan out front, leading Tyler Nelson through the course here. Again, that big initiation, but cuts the line and punts the inner clip. Gets a little gap on Tyler Nelson out front because of it. But Tyler does a really great job to reeling back in as they go up the hill. Stays tight to the inner clip while Ali washed out wide. On a little bit tighter line there, but backs off for that last and final transition. And up the hill they go. We're ready to switch it up. Tyler Nelson will now lead Ali Arslan. Here's S15. Off the line they go. Play from Team RPM. Trying to chase down Tyler Nelson. With a pro driver in that same Mustang, and up the hill he comes. Ali trying to apply the pressure, he does, gives him a little nudge there at the top of the hill. Making that transition to come back down and diving across that cone is Ali Arslan in the chase position. And sticking with Tyler as they come across that last and final clip. Go to the replay again, Tyler out front this time. Entering in, picks up throttle and stays tight to both those inside clips. And up the hill, here's where Ali surges forward, gives Tyler a little nudge there. Around that inside clip and back down the hill. There you see Ali cutting the course just a little bit there. Shallows up on angle and chase and down across that finish line. And there it is, Chris, Matt, and Ed all going for Tyler Nelson. And Tyler Nelson will get the win and move on to grade 8.
Okay, Tyler takes the win there. Obviously, lead to lead. Just Tyler, we just felt was that little bit cleaner overall. And then chase to chase, Tyler just brought the correct amount of aggression, did exactly what he needed to. And then unfortunately, then in Ali's chase, as we come through clip 5 and then sort of just shy of that transition, he almost straightens just as we came through that transition, which then for me and the others gave advantage again there to Tyler, and Tyler takes the win.
Certainly does, and we have our next drivers at the line ready to go. Cal Fonseca and Reese Tatterson. Cal Fonseca out front, leading Reese Tatterson. And entering in, good initiation by both drivers here. Reese really settled in that chase position, and up the hill they come. Oh, and almost going a little bit too wide is Cal Fonseca, but he holds on to it, touches that white line, and back down the hill they come. Reese Tatterson in that chase position, still right there with him, backs off for the last transition, and across that finish line. Great run by both these drivers. We go back to the replay. Cal going for that big initiation swing here, and it certainly pays off. Grabs that inner clip. Reese in chase right there on that rear wheel of Cal Fonseca. Cal pouring on the angle coming up the hill and does a very good job not to drop a tire. Back down the hill they come. Reese applying the pressure once again. And again across that finish line. Great start to the battle by both of them. We'll switch it up. Reese will now lead and Cal will give chase. And they're off the line. Nice initiation once again by both these drivers. Reese a little tighter to that inside clip. And up the hill. Cal Fonseca applying the pressure here. Sticking with Reese Tatterson out front in that Pro Drift Academy S15. And back down the hill. Pouring on the angle is Reese in that lead position. And finishing out the run strong. Cal right there with Reese as they cross that finish line. Going back to the replay once again. Quick run from Reese Tatterson out front. But Cal doing a good job to stick with him as they go up this hill. Applies the pressure here a little bit on a tighter line. Squeezes around that inside clip. And back down the hill and sticking with Reese as they make that last and final transition to finish out the course.
So Reese takes the win there. That was very, very close. Lead to lead, they are both really similar. The only thing is KO just drops a tiny bit of a tyre there, just coming up into the horseshoe in the lead. But other than that, there's not much to choose from. The only thing to separate the two really is then when you're looking in the chase positions, Reese was just that little bit more aggressive and that little bit closer from the word go, and was much sort of more aggressive through turn 1 into turn 2, whereas unfortunately KO only really brought that same proximity and aggression from sort of midway through click 3 coming into click 4 off the horseshoe. So just because of that, Reese takes the win.
He certainly does. Great runs by both of them. We'll move on to Shoma Takaya and Connor Shanahan. Shoma will lead first, the qualified higher today, qualifying 6th, and Connor qualifying 11th. And they're off. Shoma Takaya out front in that S13, being chased down by Connor Shanahan and his Red Bull S15. And here we go. Across that second inside clip and up the hill. Look at Connor applying the pressure in that chase position. Shoma doing a really good job out front. Staying really tight to that inside clip. Oh, and a little bump from Connor Shanahan in the chase position, not allowing Shoma Takaya to transition and across that finish line. We'll go back to the replay. Check out that little bump there coming out of the horseshoe. Again, Shoma out front, entering in, tight to the inside clip. Connor makes a big dive here coming up the hill, catches back up, stays with him into that second outside zone, grabs that inner clip, and there's the little bump from Connor Shanahan. So something for the judges to break down. Really pay attention to there going into the decision as we switch them up first. Connor Shanahan will now lead. Shoma Takaya will give chase. Connor Shanahan out front in that Red Bull S15. Being chased down by Shoma Takaya. Coming up the hill, Shoma trying to apply the pressure to stay with Connor. Connor doing a really nice job out front in that lead position, filling that section of the course at the top of the hill. Here they come back down the hill. Pouring on the anger is Connor. And finishing out that run. Here we go, back to the replay. Connor out front. Really smooth initiation here, riding the rumble strip. Picking up throttle and grabbing that inside clip. And up the hill they come, and look at the dive by Shoma Takaya in that chase position. Again here as well. Had to back up just a little bit as he was on a tighter line than Connor out front. Good transition. And here comes that last and final one, and Shoma sticks right with him as they cross that finish line. Couple of Shoma wins, one more times, some Connor wins. See where the judges go. Slide left for Shoma Takaya, or slide right for Connor Shanahan. Chris for Connor Shanahan. Matt for Connor Shanahan. And Connor Shanahan will get the win. And Ed as well. So a unanimous decision from the judges. Connor Shanahan will get the win and move on to face Reese Tatterson in the grade 8.
Connor takes the win there. A little bit of a debate there, but really for myself at least, I felt that lead to lead, Connor just is that little bit cleaner overall, especially coming off the horseshoe into that bottom section, coming back onto the main track. I felt Connor was a lot easier to follow. Gets a much nicer, smoother transition back out onto track. Unfortunately, at that point, Shoma then starts to fall off, whereas on the reverse of that, Shoma has quite a sort of strange transition back out onto the main track that did make it difficult for Connor to follow. Connor does a great job to not cause contact and gets back up straight on the door there. So for me, just because of that sort of section more so than anything, Connor takes it. I will say, of course, Connor did take a little bit of time there getting up into the door, coming off of turn 1, but equally Shoma was quite slow off the line. So for me, I didn't feel that was too bad. So for me, just about Connor takes that.
There you see on the bracket, Connor Shanahan moving forward against Shoma Takaya, and he'll face Reese Tatterson in the top 8. We're moving on right on into top 8. We'll just wait on those couple of drivers to reconnect to the server, not take a break, as it's not needed. Love you too, Zach, there in chat. Zach doing a fantastic job today here in the top 32. We, I don't want to say we're proud of you, but we're proud of you, Zach. Doing great. Now here's some drivers coming to the line. Our first battle of the grade 8 will be Erikas Jerkis and Brandon Williams. They're at the line ready to go. And they're off. Erikas Jerkis out front in his E92 being chased down by Brandon Williams in his JZX. And here we go. Smooth initiation by both. Tight across the inside clips. Brandon trying to stay with him. Needs to make a real in coming up this hill, and he certainly does. Trying to stick with Erikas. Erikas looking super planted and fast out front. Pulling away again from Brandon Williams in that lead position here. Last and final transition. And Erikas coming out top 8 and making a statement in his lead run. We'll go back to the replay here. Erikas out front. Brandon Williams giving chase. Nice initiation by both. Brandon does a good job sticking with him here, but as soon as they make that first transition, Ericos pulls a little bit of a gap. Brandon reels him back in just a little bit, and then Ericos starts to pull away here as they transition out of the keyhole and back down the hill. Last and final transition, and across that finish line. We'll switch them up. Brandon Williams will now lead in his red JZX, and Ericos will chase. And entering in, Brandon looking good here. Across the inside clips and up the hill. Filling out those outside zones. Ericos staying right there with him. And back down the hill they come. And staying right there with Brandon. And across that finish line, great throttle control from Ericos in that chase position as well as we could hear it. We'll go back to that replay. Watching him enter in here. And Ericos picks up throttle. A little bit of a gap created from Brandon. But then Ericos does a great job reeling him back into that second outside zone. Here they come back down the hill. And Ericos sticking right there with him. Great lead from Brandon out front, but just couldn't get away from Ericos. Ericos applied the pressure throughout the entirety of that run. We go with judge's decision. And can't thank Ali for coming forward and helping us with this graphic. And here we go. Slide left for Ericos Sturgis. Unanimous decision by all three judges. Ericos moves on.
Ericos takes the win there. Obviously, lead to lead, they were both really good jobs. There's not a lot to say. The only thing, of course, is that Ericos coming out of that last corner a little bit slow. What let Brandon catch back up, but it's chase to chase. Brandon does a valiant job there. Ericos is looking really good today out in lead. But then in the reverse of that, Brandon did a good job, and Ericos absolutely went for his door and just beautiful chase job.
It certainly was. Again, making a huge statement in top 8 is Ericos Sturgis, moving on into the final 4. Here we go with Zach O'Sullivan will lead Tikon Poleski through the course. Zach qualifying higher, qualifying 4th, and Tikon Poleski right behind him, qualifying 5th. Ooh, I believe we got a disconnect from Zach. Yep, so judges are actually going to count that as his 5-minute timeout. Or, okay, now he has Houdini'd back. And he's ready to go. So hopefully his connection holds up for this battle. But here we go. Zach O'Sullivan out front of Tikon Poleski. Entering in. Picking up throttle and nice and smooth here. Looking the same he did in qualifying earlier today, pouring on the angle as he comes up the hill and fills that outside zone tight to the inside clip. Here they come. Look at Tikon dive in on the door of Zach O'Sullivan, staying right on the bumper as they make their transitions. Wow, and here we go, back to the replay. Zach out front, leading Tikon Poleski through this course. And doing so very well. Great lead run by Zach out front. But look at the pressure that Tikon Poleski applied throughout this whole run here, staying with Zach. I don't think he ever made contact whatsoever. Look at there, diving through the bumper of Zach. And finishing out the run super strong. We'll flip him around. Tikon Poleski will now lead Zach O'Sullivan. Props to Tikon in the chat. I see you. And here we go. Tikon picking up throttle. And look at Zach in the chase position, putting it on the door of Tikon Poleski, as well as coming up the hill too. Needs to stay off just a little bit. Gives him a tap, maybe 2. Tied around the inside clip and back down the hill. Zach diving ahead, trying to stay with Tikon here. Last and final transition. Oh, and what a run by both of these drivers. A solid battle by both, lead and chase. Going to the replay here on the second half. Tikon out front, almost gets bumped by Zach there. Here they come up the hill. Both flashers on. Zach giving him a little tap there. Tikon holding it together through that second outside zone. And here they come back down the hill. Zach getting chased down by Tikon Poleski. And across that finish line. Great runs by both these drivers. We'll go to the judges' decisions. Zach will slide right or left, and Tikon slide right. And there it is, Chris for Tikon Poleski, Matt, and Ed as well. So unanimous decision. Tikon Poleski will move on into the top 4. But man, what great runs by rookie driver Zach O'Sullivan here today in the first round.
Tikon takes the win there. Lead to lead, full marks to Zach. He does have that little bit more angle throughout the whole lead run. Yeah, it was a really good lead, but equally Tikon had a really good lead. It wasn't quite as stylish as Zach's, but was still more than chaseable, more than what we asked for. Unfortunately, it just comes down to chase. Tikon is just on Zach's door from the word go and just doesn't let him go the whole run. Zach does an admirable chase, it really is, but it's just Tikon's chase was just that bit better. That was beautiful. Well done. Hold your head high, and you can hold your head. You can hold your head high there, Zach. I can't speak anymore. Sorry to the stream. Well done to Zach for making grade 8 in his first round at VDC.
Absolutely, great job by Zach. Certainly impressed with his showing today. And that chase run against Tikon, as well as those leads just all day. Qualified high and then kept up the pace with those lead runs all day today. Really put on the pressure at Tikon, but Tikon just too smooth and gets the win and moves on to face Erikas Jerkis. Next battle, Alan Hines, Tyler Nelson. Alan Hines out front. 2 pro drifters going at it, one from Ireland, one from the USA. Alan Hines entering in really nice and smooth in that Pro Drift Academy S15, being chased down by that Shelby Mustang, and up the hill they come. Tyler applying that pressure, surging forward as he does. Needs to back off here for that transition. He does end up doing so and diving up onto the door of Alan Hines. And there they go across that finish line. Great finish to the first half of this battle. As we go back to the replay, Alan Hines out front, leading Tyler through the course. Entering in very nice and smooth. Tyler diving in for it. Drops the tire there across that inside clip, but sticks with it and applies that pressure to Alan Hines. Surging ahead. Does grab that inside clip and punt it a little bit in that chase position, but does what he needs to stay with Alan Hines. And again, across that finish line. We'll switch him up. Tyler Nelson now out front, leading Alan Hines through the course. Ooh, and we have our first restart of the day. Tyler catching that cone there. That wide Mustang. Struggling to get through our concrete cones that we have. Special order. And there we go. Tyler burning them down for the second half of this battle. Entering in, nice initiation this time from Tyler. Picks up that throttle and lurches forward. Here they come up the hill. A little tentative on that transition there and getting on throttle to come up the hill. But Alan's sticking right there with him and applying the pressure. Tons of angle coming down the hill from Tyler Nelson out front in his Mustang. Last and final one, and across that finish line. Alan Hines right there on that back bumper of Tyler Nelson as we go back to the replay. And Tyler out front in his Shelby Mustang. Entering in. being chased down by Alan Hines. A little gap there, but it took a while for Tyler to really get settled in before going up that hill and being on throttle. Alan doing a great job here in that chase. Lurches forward again as they come down that hill. And then that last and final transition, Alan sticking right there with him as they cross that finish line. The judge's decision. Wide left for Alan Hines. Right for Tyler Nelson. Again, 2 pro drifters. One from Ireland, one from the USA. Tyler making his debut in FD this year. Alan driving really anything he can out in Ireland and has done Oman for the past couple of years as well. Really doing really good out there in Oman. That Pro Drift Academy. The S14 of his. Just deliberating for quite some time with this one, probably reviewing replays, breaking things down, make sure they make that right call. Or maybe we could see them one more time and they can't come to a decision. Oh, here we go. And there it is, one more time from Chris and Ed, and Matt goes with Tyler Nelson. So we'll see them one more time. We'll switch them up. Alan should lead again this time. He qualified second.
Okay, we'd like to see that one more time, please. Myself and Ed voted one more time, and Matt there went with Tyler taking the win. For myself and Ed, it was just a case of the mistake that Alan made on his chase entry with that bobble we felt was sizable. And then obviously on Tyler's lead further up the hill, just past clip 3, he does drop a little bit of a tyre there just off the back of that rumble, and then on the reverse of that on Tyler's chase, he does come a long way across the inside rumble on clip 2. So overall for us, we just feel there was just a few too many mistakes there for both drivers. Just owing to just wanting to see that one more time, whereas Matt just thought that he felt the mistakes that Alan had made there were enough to justify just about giving the win to Tyler. So it was a split call.
Yeah, great explanation from our head judge, Chris, there. And either way, we will switch him up, see him one more time. Alan Hines will now lead Tyler Nelson through the course. Our second battle of the day. Here they go, they're off. Clean start. Tyler doing everything he can to stick it to the door of Alan Hines here as they make that initiation, and up the hill they come. Very smooth by both these. Alan rocking and rolling. Tyler Nelson surging again in that chase. That big Mustang just screaming at us. Last and final transition there, and across that finish line. So another good start here. Maybe even a little cleaner than last time. Again, Alan out front. Entering in, and look at that surge from Tyler Nelson. A lot cleaner from Tyler in that chase position on initiation as well. Not so surgy this time, sticking with Alan. It's around that inside clip, both those drivers. And a nice little dive from Tyler Nelson there. They finish out their run. And switching them up for their one more time battle. The second half of it. Tyler Nelson now out front. Oh no, and he hits the cone again. Oh man. Hopefully his suspension is all okay, as there is damage in Assetto Corsa. They're off for the second half. Tyler catching that cone just a little bit, but judges are going to let it go. And entering in, Tyler now out front in the big Mustang. Oh, dropping big time there. Oh no, and he's going to go off course going up the hill. With that awkward transition coming up the hill, dropping a little bit too much tire. It upset the front of the car just too much there. And Allen will finish out the run. We'll go to the replay to check it out. See what exactly transpired here. Again, Tyler out front in that Shelby Mustang. Nice and smooth through there, but just gets caught up on the inside, unsettles that front, and washes him to the outside. And Allen just continues on through the course and finishes out his chase run. There it is. Allen Hines will get the win from that mistake from Tyler Nelson, and he'll move on to the Final Four.
Obviously, Allen takes the win there. Super unfortunate for Tyler in the lead there. He had put on a beautiful chase job there. Full marks to Tyler. That was a great chase. Obviously, again, as always, to have a great chase, you've got to have a great lead, and Allen did give him a really solid line to follow. It's so unfortunate that happened. Yeah, commiserations there to Tyler.
Absolutely. Another great explanation from our head judge, Chris Vitolsky there. As we hear on Discord there, Tyler says he broke his wheel. He's actually been on a Logitech, either G27 or G29 this whole time. We've been trying to talk him into upgrading. So now I guess it's finally that time. But here we go. We have Connor Shanahan and Reese Tatterson on the line, ready to go. Our last and final battle of top 8. Connor Shanahan entering in, picking up throttle there and fast across those two inside clips, and up the hill they come. But look at Reese Tatterson in tow, sticking with him, matching the angle and matching the line very well here in that chase position. Down the hill they come, and look at the surge from Reese Tatterson in that chase position. Nice and final transition and across that finish line. We'll go right on to the replay. Again, Connor out front in his Red Bull S15 being chased down by Reese Tatterson in his Pro Drift Academy S15. And there they go, up the hill in this replay. Reese sticking with him, a little bit tighter line here in that chase position, but then backs up and gets right back in the line. That dive right there by Reese Tatterson in the chase position, man. And good way to finish it out as well. We'll switch it up. Reese Tatterson will now lead Connor Shanahan through the course in that Pro Drift Academy S15. They're off. Good initiation by both. Tight across the inside blips there. It looks like maybe a little tap from Connor in that chase position, which held up Reese's transition to go up the hill. Reese a little bit too tight to that inside clip around the keyhole. And here they come back down the hill. Nice and final transition. And finishing out the course side by side is both of these drivers. Go right on to the replay. Reese Tatterson again out front for the second half of this battle, being chased down by Connor Shanahan in his Red Bull S15. Up the hill they come. A little hiccup there from Reese out front. Here they come back down the hill. And across the line they go. Another big one for the judges. A breakdown here. Slide left for Connor Shanahan and slide right for Reese Tatterson. There it is. Reese gets the win over Connor Shanahan and moves ahead into the Final Four to face Alan Hines, his teammate and Pro Drift Academy driver.
Okay, fantastic battle there. That all comes down to just a mistake that unfortunately Connor makes in his chase run, just coming off of that first transition. He just clips Reese's bumper just coming through the transition and slows Reese's transition down, causes Reese to have to sort of check up and get back in it. That is the only thing to separate the two runs, honestly. Lead to lead there, you were both fantastic, chase to chase. Other than that tiny little thing that Connor did off of turn 1 into turn 2, it was a beautiful battle, but unfortunately, Connor just made that little error, just got too close to Reese's bumper, slowed the transition down, and for us, that was just enough to give it to Reese. Great battle though, guys. Really well done.
It certainly was. We caught that in the replay as well, just not quite giving just enough room for that transition to go up the hill. Stops Reese from transitioning, and that's what gives Reese the win to go on and face his teammate, Alan Hines, in the Final Four. But up first, Erica Sturgis and Tikon Poleski. Erica Sturgis will lead first in his E92, and he'll be chased down by Tikon Poleski in his S14. Both returning with the same vehicles that they've been using for the past couple seasons. Like they're ready to go, waiting on the judges to send them off. There they go, down the hill. Erica's out front. And picking up the throttle, and here we go. Up the hill. Look at the pressure by Tikon Poleski being applied up the hill, filling those outside zones. Sticking right there with him, just glued to the door. Backs off for the transition and jumps right back on it. Is Tikon Poleski in that chase position, but can't take anything away from that great lead run from Erica Sturgis as we go back to that replay. Entering in as Erica's doesn't quite get to a bunch of angle there, but picks up throttle when he needs to, and Tikon doing exactly what he needs to do in that chase position, staying right there with him, matching the line, matching the angle, mimicking everything Erica's is doing, and then some, just diving up onto the door of Erica's. Tikon really after that win today. Go, switched up. Tikon now out front in his S14, leading Erica Sturgis in his E92. Tikon going for the big swing initiation, washes out wide from the inner clip just a little bit, and here they go up the hill. Erica's trying to apply that pressure and stay with Tikon, as we know Tikon's very fast in his S14, but look at there, Erica's staying right with him, making the nice transition, super smooth in that chase. And there they go, last and final one and across the finish line. Again, right back to the replay. Tikon out front, making a very good lead run, but does wash out from this first inside clip here. You see maybe across the third hash mark, Erica's doing a very good job to back off, let him transition, and then jump right back onto the door to follow him up the hill and stick with him for the rest of this run here as they come back down the hill here on the replay. Last and final one. Good chase driving by Erica Sturgis. Here we go, slide left for Erica Sturgis. Slide right for Tikon Poleski. Shout out to our judges, Chris, Ed, and Matt today. Oh, and look at there, one more time from all three judges.
We'd like to see that one more time, please. For us, that was just too close to call. Lead to lead. Ericas on coming off of the last corner, washes wide and drops a tyre. Then against that, Tikon in his lead, coming into the entry, washes wide and then gets back on it and then drops just a little bit of a tyre at the top of the horseshoe. Chase to chase, I would say Tikon was the little bit more dominant, but also we feel that Tikon just made a little bit just made a couple of more critical errors in the lead, which just then gives it back to being one more time, because Erikas does then, after that wide entry from Tikon, gets right back in it and is nearly as aggressive as Tikon was. So for us, we'd just like to see that one more time, please.
Absolutely. Great explanation again from Chris there. We'll see him one more time, and we'll flip him around. Erikas Sturgis will lead. Tikon Poleski will chase him down. See if Tikon can keep up with that consistency that he is known for. If Erikas can remain the king of Road Atlanta for Virtual Drift Championship. And here they go. Clean start. Ooh, Erikas not quite getting to angle there on initiation. Real tentative. And now he's back to it. Good transition. Here they come up the hill. Lifting the tire there, rumbling up the rumble strip. Right around that inside clip. And look at there, being bumped on the bumper by Tikon Poleski through the transition. Tikon doing everything he can to stay just locked to that door of Erikas Sturgis. We go back to that replay. Erikas entering in, as you can see, doesn't quite get to the angle he wants to. Very tentative, but then cleans it up with that transition, and up the hill both the cars go. Tikon again matching that angle, line, and really impact through the course here, rubbing that bumper as they make that transition before coming down the hill. And across that finish line is both those drivers. And we'll switch them up. Second half of their one more time battle here in the top four. Entering in as Tikon, dropping a tire there. Is he going to wash again? He doesn't quite pick up that inside clip, super tight, but is better than the first time. He's able to drop that speed, and look at Erikas Sturgis here in the chase position again in his E92. Backs off a little bit more there than Tikon did in his chase. But then look at the dive from Erikas and rubbing his door as they cross that finish line. Directly on to that replay. Check it out once more. You see him drop a little bit of a tire. It's usually expected for them to wash out too wide, but he holds it together very well, and Erikas sticks with him as they come up the hill and through this keyhole. He does back off a little bit more than Tikon in his chase position, but then surges right back up to him, especially after this last and final transition and across the finish line. Going to the judges' decisions once more, and Tikon Poleski takes the win unanimously by all three judges.
Tikon takes the win that time. Did sort of pretty much what we wanted to see in that chase. Again, super aggressive. Unfortunately, Erikas on his entry had a bit of issues, I think, on the entry. Just didn't quite get the car settled, and then had a slightly weak entry, and then got back into it. But then Tikon in the chase does a great job just getting straight back in the door and straight back up in that little pocket zone that we want to see, just by that front A pillar. And then equally, to be fair to Erikas, he does get that lead run back together and does a really good job. Then on the reverse of that, Tikon puts down a really solid lead. Again, does wash a little bit wide off clip one, but not too badly. Unfortunately, Erikas just can't bring the fight in the same way that Tikon did to him. But that was a great battle.
It certainly was. Great to see him go one more time as well. And now we've got the two teammates up against each other in the top four, Alan Hines and Reese Tatterson. Alan Hines will lead first as he qualified second today, and Reese Tatterson will chase him down. He qualified 14th. Here we go. Judges are giving the countdown now, and off the line and through the chicane they go. Road Drift Academy teammates entering in. Again, Alan out front. A nice smooth transition by both these drivers, and look at Reese Tatterson jump onto the door on a little bit tighter line than Alan Hines out front, but sticking with him, backs off for the transition to come down the hill. A little bit tighter line from Reese Tatterson in the chase position, backs off nicely though, and across that finish line they go for their first half of the battle. Again, we'll go right to that replay. Both Pro Drift Academy drivers here. Alan out front with the blue Vitor tires logos. Transitioning up the hill. Look at the proximity by Reese Tatterson. Does jump on that tighter line there, but backs back up. A little bit tighter line there as well. Backs up for the transition and then jumps back onto the door. Still on that tighter line. And then across that finish line is both of those cars. We'll switch it up. Reese Tatterson will now lead. Alan Hines through Road Atlanta. Here we go. Entering in. A little bit more angle on initiation there. Out front is Reese Tatterson. And blasting up the hill. Big angle coming up the hill. Filling that top outside zone as well. The impact of this run. Oh, pours on a bunch angle and gets a little tap from Alan in the chase position. And they'll finish out the run together. Let's go back to that replay. Check out that contact here. Again, Reese Tatterson out front. Being chased down by Alan Hines. Big swing up the hill, and here we see Reese just pour on the angle. But Alan does it right behind him as well. Almost like they've been practicing together. And there's that little nudge from Alan Hines. And down across that finish line they go. So we'll go straight to the judges and see what they have to say for the battle of the teammates here in top 4. Oh, and look at there. Alan Hines is going to get the win. We'll wait to hear from Chris.
Alan takes the win there. Really, that just comes literally down to the little bit of contact that was caused coming out of the horseshoe. We just felt that Reese just angled up a little bit too much to be considered sort of reasonable in his lead. It just looked like he just over-rotated a little bit, just caused that tiny bit of contact, and that was enough for us to give it to Alan. Equally though, I will say that Reese had a really good chase himself. Didn't really put much of a foot wrong, and Alan had a stellar lead as well. Just literally just comes down to that little bit of contact just coming out the horseshoe, just because Reese had a little bit too much angle there, and Alan just didn't really have anywhere left to go. So Alan takes the win and advances to the final.
He certainly does. So we will have a T-Con Poleski and Alan Hines final for the first round of the Virtual Drift Championship. T-Con taking home the championship last season, and Alan coming in second right behind him. Alan qualifying higher today, so he will lead T-Con first. But before that, we have our third place battle between Erica Sturgis and Reese Tatterson. And big shout out to everybody who stuck around and watched the event today. We hope everybody has enjoyed it. And here we go for our third place battle of round 1 of season 5. Ericos out front, entering in, big angle, really gets to it this time, gets a little nudge from Reese Tatterson in that chase position, and up the hill they come. Reese sticking right there with him, staying with Ericos. Tight to the inside clip is both of the drivers here. And look at the dive from Reese in the chase position in that Pro Drift Academy S15 once again, and look at it across the line, finishing it out. And we'll go back to the replay. Here they come down the hill. Entering in nice and smooth. Little tap there from Reese in that chase position. Up the hill they both come. Reese really staying on that line that Ericos has taken through the course, and just a beautiful lead run by Ericos in his E92. And again, he's been driving since he started driving here in the Virtual Drift Championship. We'll switch it up. Reese Tatterson will lead Erica Sturgis through the course for our third place battle. They go through the chicane and down the hill. Entering in, Reese Tatterson out front. And pulling a little bit of gap on Ericos. Ericos struggling to keep up with Reese Tatterson out front. There he goes, reeling him back in, sticking it to the door of Reese. On the bumper and jumping on to the door as they come down the hill. Last and final transition, giving him a little nudge there. in that chase position, and we'll go back to the replay. And smooth start here. Big initiation by Reese. Gets to that angle, picks up throttle when he should, and then leaves a little bit of gap on Erika's Jerkis, and he has to reel him back in, and he does so at the top of the hill there, sticking it to Reese around that inside clip and back down the hill. Maybe rubbing that bumper a little bit through that transition as well there, and then that final little nudge from Erika's in that chase position. We'll go to the judges. Slide left for Erika's Jerkis and right for Reese Tatterson. And there it is, Reese Tatterson taking the win and taking home third place today over Erika's Jerkis. Congratulations to Reese Tatterson. And a great showing by Erika's.
Reese takes the win there. That was really, really small margins. It pretty much just comes down to the chase. Lead to lead, they're both really, really nice leads. There's not much to say between the two. Reese had a little bit more angle, I guess, but that's about it. Chase to chase, it's just that Reese was just that little bit more aggressive from the word go. That is all that separates the two. From about clip 3 onwards, they are almost mirror images of each other's chase runs. It was really, really good driving from both of you. It is literally just on that entry, Reese was a little bit more aggressive coming into clip 1. That's it. Great battle, and well done to Reese for taking third place.
Absolutely great job by Reese today here in the first round of Season 5 and grabbing that third place finish. And here we go, on to our final battle. Alan Hines will lead Tikon Poleski. Here we go, countdown has started. And through the chicane, again, Alan Hines out front in that Pro Drift Academy S15 being chased down by Tikon Poleski. Previous season champions going against each other here, and really tight to the inside clips there. Up the hill they come, and look at the pressure being applied by Tikon Poleski here on the door of Alan Hines as they go through the horseshoe. Down the hill they come, and sticking right to him. Last and final transition and across that finish line. Great start to our final battle here of round 1. On to the replay, entering in as both these drivers very quick through the course there, as you see how early that replay started. Flying through the outside clip, down tight to that inside, and just the pressure being applied by Tikon Poleski is insane. And they finish out that run, and we'll switch it up. Tikon Poleski will now lead, and Alan Hines will chase him down. They're off. Tikon out front. Alan Hines chasing him down. And up the hill they come. Tikon not quite getting to the angle he wanted, and flying up the hill. And there's Alan reeling him back in, applying the pressure there. Back down the hill they come. Tight to the inside clips. Last and final transition. And across the finish line, both those drivers go. Here we go, on to the replay. Tikon out front. And maybe even a little bump from Alan in the chase position by his rear bumper on that initiation. Little gap created there by Tikon out front. And Alan does a great job to reel him back in. Follows him through the course here and down the hill. Backs up for that last and final transition. And across that finish line. And there it is. T-Con unanimously gets the win and the victory for round 1 here at Road Atlanta. And I'm sure we'll hear from Chris in just a second on the explanation on how he got that win.
Firstly, that was a great battle. Top marks to both of you. That did come down yet again to really small margins. T-Con just takes the win here. Lead to lead, you both had beautiful, beautiful leads. It's just in that chase. T-Con just perfectly gets the dive right coming into T1. A little bit more angle than Alan there. Has to make a slightly early transition coming up through into the key section, dragging up the hill. Pulls it off really well. Unfortunately, there in the chase there, Alan just makes that little bit more of an error himself, just goes a little bit too much more angle, and then sort of has lost the composure, lost a bit of the gap, and then has to make a big dive up the hill. Full marks though to Alan, as after click 3 he does make a great dive and gets back up on the door, but yeah, T-Con there just edging it out for consistency. Well done.
Absolutely well done by all of the drivers today, especially those that made it into the top 32. Really everybody in qualifying as well, everybody drove fantastically, did their best. We had a fantastic top 32. We 100% appreciate everybody who decided to show up today and stick around for the live stream and enjoy the event. And it looks like T-Con and Alan are gonna go. It looks like Reese is gonna go for a little victory lap here, and they certainly do so. And look at there, Alan through the other side, going for the suicide drift. Awesome showing these guys. Great runs by all, and super congratulations to T-Con Poleski on his win for the first round of the Virtual Drift Championship. Again, thanks everybody who stuck around, watched the full live stream. Even if you didn't, we appreciate you as well. Everybody who shared it. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Another big shout out to Grip Royal for sponsoring our trophy this season, and I cannot wait to show that thing off to everybody. I'm just so excited for it, and give some prizes to these amazing drivers who spend a ton of time getting their cars together and then showing up for these events and doing their best. So again, thanks everybody. That is gonna be it for round 1, Road Atlanta Season 5 of the Virtual Drift Championship.